was raised in a Christian home at a sister church here just across the street from Parker, and at the age of 13 I went on a mission trip with my youth group, and we had worked all week on a roof, repairing a roof, and it was a wonderful week, and it was just an encouraging time. I knew who the Lord was and I knew what He'd done for me, but I was missing something in my life at that point. And at one of the youth rallies, it was one of the last nights that we were there, we were singing a song and I got very emotional and started crying and didn't know why I was crying, didn't know what was wrong. And so one of the youth leaders pulled me to the side and she said, Megan, we need to talk. And I said, yeah, I think we do. I told her, I said, I'm pretty sure that I'm missing something in my life. So she talked with me and explained to me it was the Holy Spirit talking to my heart. And so together she helped me to pray the prayer to ask Jesus into my heart. And so that was the night there on a bunk bed at a youth camp that I became a Christian. And I'll tell you that I went on through high school and college, and I made plenty of decisions to make the Lord proud, but I made plenty to cause the Lord to be disappointed in me as well. And in 2007, I married Jason, and shortly after we were married, he was blessed with a job here at Parker. And I'm sad to tell you that we were here about 2 years before we became members, and that was totally on my terms. It was why it had been so long before we joined, and I'll tell you it was because I had a hang-up on baptism, and I didn't quite understand why that was a step that I needed to take. So after about 2 years, Jason really encouraged me to talk to Brother Mack about it, and he explained to me what baptism was and what that meant, and I understood at that point why that was a step that you took after you accepted Christ. And even though I'd accepted Him at 13, it was now time for me to take that step to be baptized. So a couple of Sundays after Brother Mack and I talked, it was in February 2010, I was able to be baptized. And I will tell you that up until the second that I stepped into the water, I still partially thought it was just a legality that I had to take to become a member. And boy, was I wrong. Because the second that I stepped into that water, I was immersed in something totally different than I was expecting to be immersed in. And I know what it was, and you know what it was. It was the Holy Spirit immersed in me. And when I came out of that water and I looked up, I no longer saw just a congregation, and what I saw was a congregation of believers that were now holding my life accountable, and that I had chosen to show an outward faith to them. And from this point forward, they looked at me as one of His children and not just Megan walking around in the church. And so I made a conscious effort from that point forward to live my life very differently, and to truly just run after the Lord. And I have really made conscious efforts every morning that I woke up to be that servant leader that He's called me to be. And I'll tell you, I've fallen short. I haven't always, in these last 2 years, made those decisions that I know that He wanted me to, but I have relinquished so much of the control to Him, and made the decisions that I know have made Him a lot prouder. And I guess I tell you this today for 2 reasons. And the first reason is to remember when you were baptized. When you step into the water, it says in Galatians that you put on Christ. So look at what you're wearing. Are you wearing Christ? Are you wearing something that makes Him proud? Or are you just going through the motions? Because I went through the motions for a long time, and I'm so fortunate that I was able to be baptized at a later point in my life and truly understand what it was that I was putting on and what clothing it is that I've chosen to wear. And I also pray for you today, if you don't know who the Father is and if you haven't asked Him to come live in your heart, that you're missing out. Put the ropes down, quit controlling your own life. You're going to fail miserably. It's not in your control, it's in His control. And I pray that you would be able to make that decision to ask the Father to be in charge and guard and govern your life.